Welcome to Mazzy's mix number 33. It's been a while since I've done a Mazzy mix video. And what these are, they're a trail mix of all kinds of things thrown together. New records I picked up, new releases, reissues, used records, things that have come in the mail, maybe gifts and suggestions by viewers and friends. And I'm going to go through that and maybe a few other little things thrown in here. It's a mixture, a potpourri, a trail mix, you know. As I said many times, a trail mix is basically all the crap you wouldn't eat separately, thrown in the bag, shaken up, and you pay like 5 times the price of all the things if you had bought them separately. That was the thing that probably started in Marin, Northern California, way back in the 70s. Maybe LA, actually. It sounds more like LA. No, it sounds Northern California. It sounds so Mount Tamalpais. You'd have to be there to know what I'm talking about. Hot tubs, and that was the rage then. But I want to go through some records. Now, I want to start out with this because this is Elvis Costello, the great collaboration Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach did some time ago originally, and we just lost Burt Bacharach. So this is a timely release that was obviously prepared long before Burt's passing. I don't usually, again, or very infrequently, I should say, do shootouts, but I do have the MoFi Super Vinyl version, which is probably the only available version up to this point that came out about 2-3 years ago. 2017 actually, and then I think it was repressed a couple years ago. And this is fantastic. All of a sudden, hearing this album on vinyl, this is where vinyl really makes things differently. It opens up, you get a different feel of the record, the tonality is different, the depth, just the sound of playing a record back on a decent or a good vinyl system far kicks ass over a compact disc. And look at me, I'm not averse to compact discs, but in the right situation listening, this is the perfect kind of album where the depth, the spatial feel of the record, just the sound of it, you know, good midtones, good bass. The highs are good, they're not bright at all, and this is a wonderful sounding record. Of course, Elvis Costello sports a great hat. I am 2 days older than Elvis, and I think that is a cool straw hat. I love it. Anyway, so I got this one, and this has extra tracks, songs taken from life, other projects that they were working on. They were working on actually a musical that never came to fruition, and this has all the extras. Now, I think this is amazing that this is available for everybody. There is an expanded CD box set with even more, and I did not get that. I just went for the double album, mainly for the extra tracks. But I gotta say, now, I ordered this through Universal directly, and I have to deal with it. I actually did a cleaning after I listened to it because I haven't been cleaning new records. This is one of the noisiest records I've gotten in a long time, and it's so unfortunate, even some pops and things. And I am really lucky. I don't get a lot of bad records. My MC cart is very forgiving. My table's forgiving. My system is forgiving. But this is a dead quiet record. First of all, I think this has the edge sound-wise, but this is really good. Just, I mean, maybe a little bit better. There's more clarity in it. There's something about it I just think wins over in this case. But unfortunately, the noise on this record, the pressing, I'm gonna need to return it and figure that out. Universal, I'm looking at you here. Whoever oversaw this. Now, hopefully this is an aberration. I don't know, I haven't read comments, or if anyone else has. If you got a great copy, great. Sometimes it's just a one-off, so I'm gonna give it another chance, and I wanna trade it in. You know, I'm gonna try cleaning it one more time, yet again. But anyway, this kicks ass over this. I shouldn't say that. It's 10% better, who knows? I don't even know percentage better, but sound-wise, this is great. And if this was a quiet record, I probably wouldn't even, maybe I wouldn't even have compared it. But you know, the super vinyl, which I'm not really a fan of the special clarity or super vinyl or whatever, the various labels call it. It seems to be an uptick. It's not always so quiet, but this one, it definitely is. And the MoFi wins out in this case between these two. So there. Next, I want to sort of show two great albums that I'm showing together for, well, you'll see, obvious reasons. And I love archival releases of garage rock. And this is one that several people turned me on to, and I finally got it several months ago and dove way into it. This is a comp of a selection of various psychedelic garage bands from South America and from El Salvador. And it's that sweet spot of the the Farfisa type organs, the Vox organs, rock and roll, sort of proto-punk. This is right in my wheelhouse. I had a band from 1966, 67, 68 when I was a kid, and we did all these kind of covers and things like this. This opens up, the first band, Los Marques, opens up with Rompe el Ritmo, which is a cover of the Doors' Break On Through to the Other Side. Right when you hear that opening bass line, you know that song right away. But this whole sound is really special to me as a kid, and it brings back so many memories. Not these particular bands, but the South Bay, south of San Francisco, was a hotbed for these bands like the Syndicate of Sound that did, remember, Hey Little Girl. A lot of bands down there. And of course, the scenes from Austin with 13th Floor Elevators and the Seeds and that whole garage thing, really 1965, 1966 is the sweet spot there. It's really that kind of nugget sound that Lenny Kaye put together in the comp. There's an insert, a whole bio on the various bands in here. But this is a recommended comp if you like that description, records, songs that a lot of people my age grew up with, and a lot of these later indie bands and punk bands really gravitated to. This one is Los Saisos. This is a one-off band from Limos, Peru. This is a fantastic comp. I was turned on to this by the guy at Georgetown Records in Seattle. I was looking and I picked it up. He goes, "That's a great record." And of course, then I heard, after that, I heard someone tell me there's a great documentary, I think on YouTube, on this band. They had a resurgence somewhat. They only lasted several years. This is pretty much all their output on this one record, issued by Munster Records, and it is Demolition. This, again, comes right out of that. It reminds me of any band, probably more of the Seeds. This kind of deep, kind of gnarly, kind of throaty vocals, or real dirty vocal things. Again, with the somewhat Farfisa or Vox organ sound that a lot of bands in this period had. That twangy guitar sounds, almost like Moss-Wright guitars or Silvertone guitars. Whatever guitars, everyone had cheap-ass guitars back then, it seemed like. No one really had, Fender Stratocasters or Gibsons or initially these garage bands. And there was a whole scene in the South America. I'm a big fan of Analog Africa, who issues these sort of psychedelic funk records from South America and from Africa and the continents down there. But this is a cool-ass record as well. And this also has a nice, annotated book of the band and the artists and the history of the band. So this is something, again, that's highly recommended. I think these two are a nice pair to showcase because they have obviously similar feels, same time frame. It just shows that all this kind of garage psychedelic, almost like working class. Everybody who's grown up after the Beatles came along and those bands picked up a guitar and started playing. I think these guys started, they were together from 64 to 66 or 67, and then they regrouped in 2006. But really cool record, the complete recordings and a 12-page booklet, both in Inglés y Español. But fun, two fun garage band records. Next, I'm going to show a record from a used collection, from the Dizzy collection that I've been curating for this gentleman. And I think we're going to have another auction on, I believe it's April 7th. It's the Saturday before Easter Sunday. So stand by, subscribe to this channel, and you'll hear about that. But this is something I had never seen this or heard about this in my entire life. And this was in the collection, somewhat beat up. And I actually put it through the cleaner. And this is on Contemporary Records, Shelly Manne and His Men. This is a soundtrack for The Proper Time, 1961 film I never heard of. This is an amazing jazz record. It's got this West Coast sound. There's vibes on it. Opens up with a little bit of a drum solo. In fact, the opening track is called Drum Solo for 7 minutes. It's not a 7-minute drum solo. Maybe about a minute of the drumming, then it leads into this amazing opening track. I'd never heard of this movie, but this was a directorial debut of Tom Laughlin. Those of you who follow cinema might know Tom Laughlin. Tom Laughlin was Billy Jack, directed the Billy Jack films. His main character was Billy Jack. This is this sort of love triangle romance story of a gentleman with a speech impediment who lost his speech impediment every time he was with women, and he had this girlfriend, and his girlfriend was cheating on him, and I looked it up on Wikipedia. I had no idea, never heard of this record. But that cover, 1961, man, that's like those romance, those saucy romance novels of the 1950s and 60s. Really great. On Contemporary, of course, one of the great jazz labels. And Shelly Manne, who had his club in Southern California, Shelly Manne's Manhole. But this is a wonderful record. I think Kraft, man, this is a thing to reissue when you do your Contemporary or your OJC series or something. This is, if you see this record, and it's not an expensive record, I looked it up, $10 to $30 depending range. Not a lot for sale right now. In fact, I think there was one for sale in America. But it is a great record. Tom Laughlin did the liner notes on the back too as well. This next little section are a couple things I got in the mail from viewers. And it's really sweet. I believe me, I certainly don't solicit this. I don't expect it, and usually I don't want it because I have so much stuff, and I really appreciate the sentiment. But it's hard. It's hard gifting me music. I'll leave it at that. But this is really cool. I mean, a couple things. Cindy, she goes by the name of 10 Cent. She doesn't have a channel, but she's a viewer. She's been on live streams, and one thing she sent me, and I think. This is really cool, and I remember this album. I haven't heard this album in years. This is Willis Allen Ramsey, and this wasn't the original cover, but this is from 1972. I do not have this record. She says, I know you already have the vinyl of this CD, but I thought you might like a signed CD anyway. I do not have it, so this is great. It says, maybe you even repped him when this record came out. This is a reissue on Koch. My friend Vernon, my late friend Vernon, worked for Koch, and he used to give me a lot of CDs too, a lot of things, reissues. But this is signed. This is so cool. He's kind of this country folky indie artist. I don't remember. I used to know more about him, and I can picture the album cover. And this says, to Mazzy, all the best. Willis Allen Ramsey. How cool is that? I need to pop this in the car. Or pop it in my hard drive to my iPhone, to my car, and listen to it here in the office as well. But really, that's really sweet. Thank you so much, Cindy. And then two things, of course. This is, of course, I wonder why she sent me this. This is kind of this cool, it looks like a hand-tinted black and white photograph of the Beatles circa 1964, obviously. Now, this is the coolest because obviously big cinemaphile, but a thing I really appreciate, remember in the 60s into the 70s, you'd have lobby cards, and this is a lobby card for A Hard Day's Night. Of course, it's always interesting when they used to do these hand-tinted things like this, especially when a film is black and white, but they were hand-tinted, obviously, fading over the years. 1964 United Artists, a Walter Shenson production, but this is so cool, this lobby card from A Hard Day's Night. But I want to just thank Cindy. That's very generous and very sweet of you. And I'll add it to the collection, of course. The Beatle collection is never ending. I think I need to end it soon, though, because it's getting overwhelming, and I ain't getting any younger. So these couple of things that have come in have been here for a while, and I've been so swamped with the Dizzy collection, with work, with life in general. And I really got this interesting box. And he wrote a long note. So I'm sorry for the delay, but it's from Paul G. out of Bakersfield, California. Do you know Vinyl Richie? He's in your neighborhood. And I appreciate your hard work and effort in consistently making fun and entertaining viewing for us record nerds. I hate the term vinyl junkies, and it goes on and on and on. He lives in Bakersfield. Anyway, he obviously watched things about San Francisco and Nat Cole, and I'm just going to kind of go through these, and I haven't even had a chance to pull them out to listen to with all this other collection stuff. City Limits presents San Francisco. Of course, anything with San Francisco. What is this? 2011, limited edition, 250 copies. It's a comp of different bands. Young Prisms, Tim Cohen, X-Rays, Magic Bullets, The Sandwiches. I don't know these bands, but hey, San Francisco, you can't not like it. Oh, I know this record. I don't have this anymore. Oh, and this is sealed. Wow, this is really cool. San Francisco Records, the first Tower of Power was on San Francisco Records. I think Vaco was the DJ out of San Francisco that worked on a lot of these things, possibly. He was a DJ and put out some records. Cold Blood Hammer, Tower of Power, of course. Victoria and David Lannon, and doing Hare Krishna, of course. I remember seeing this all the time, this comp. Well, we used to sell it. I never owned it, so this is really cool. I mean, San Francisco obviously has the Ferry Building out in the in San Francisco at the Bay, which is pretty sweet there on the Embarcadero. So love this. There's the first Tower Power album is a must-have by any kind of soul funk Barry fan. It has Sparkling in the Sand, which got a lot of FM play, at least in the Bay Area. This is from 1970, San Francisco Records, distributed by Atlantic Records. I'd forgotten that. They got picked up. I don't have this on vinyl. No One Bites the Dust. Is that a clue? But I know the record. I have a CD set box of all the Queen records. But for whatever reason, I no longer have all my Queen records, and I'm very short. Okay, Ramblin' Rose, anything Nat Cole, I love. This is the Capitol, and looks like, oh, nice. Looks like it's a mono. Doesn't say, so it probably is. What's nice about it, it's not rechanneled for stereo. Nat King Cole, The Touch of Your Lips. Full dimension stereo, that's cool. Ooh, now this is, okay. You know, again, I'm gonna apologize on the delay. This is so late. Tony Bennett, picture sleeve. I left my, okay, this is the winner of all the things for me. And of course, I did leave my heart in San Francisco. There's the Golden Gate Bridge. Columbia. It's like an OG. Thank you. That is so cool. That is so cool. Susan the Red Stripes, this project that Paul McCartney did for Linda. Of course, it's basically Wings. I think I have a red copy. This is a black copy. You can see black. And this is a white label promo. I think I may have this all looked, but still, I mean, that's really generous of you. This is a cool thing. You know, I've seen this too, and I've never heard this in my entire life. Roxy on Elektra Records. I remember, this is late 60s. I'm thinking 68, 69. I don't remember exactly. Let me see which label. Yeah, this is the original, obvious Elektra label, the red label. I've never heard this record, but it is very, you know, late 60s. It's got to be 68, 69. I have this already. You know, I have this because this is one of those Capitals comps from the 60s. Chartbusters did a series of volumes. I got the ones because they'd always put a Beatles song on them. And of course, those were the days where I had to have a Beatles song. If the Beatles song was on it, I had to own it. So what can I say? Cool comp. I do have that in my Beatle comp collection. I know this record, but I've never owned it. I think I need to fumigate my house after this. I need to get the molecule turned up a few notches. I'm going to have like long-term COVID after this. Sausalito Sunrise. Oh, of course. You're really thinking Bay Area here, aren't you, right? Aaron Tabor from San Francisco Hair. Now, if he was in the San Francisco production Hair, my parents took me to see Hair at the Geary Theater when it came to San Francisco, 69 or 70. Obviously, the touring company of Hair. So he maybe was in the touring company Hair. I don't know. Oh, he does a song from Hair. Where Do I Go? Okay, everything is San Francisco related. Herb Ellis is on here. Coast Recorders, San Francisco. Now, a little trivia, Coast Recorders is on Mission Street, and that is now Toast Recorders, and that Neil Young record that came out was recorded at Toast Records, what, a decade or so ago. That used to be called Coast Recording. So let's get back into things. These are things. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Now for some new music. Yes, Mazzy loves new music. This is The Nude Party, and this is their third album. I have the other two. If you're a boomer and you're a Stones fan and you like the 1970s Rolling Stones, this will get you like a third of the way there. This has that classic rock 70s Stones sound. It has a little more of also Lou Reed in the 70s, if they were being backed up and harmonized and arranged by the Beach Boys, by Brian Wilson. It's got just that kind of rock and roll, dirty sound at times, some good vocal harmonies, but a lot of it's more that the lead singer has, Mick Jagger and Lou Reed, and in that, maybe Iggy Pop, but not as dirty as an Iggy Pop in a way. And it's songs that would seem very familiar, but it's really well done. This is a fun record. This is a double record set. These guys I think they met in Vermont in college or something, and they're based out of North Carolina. That's all I know. They're a young band, but it just got this really kind of jammy thing. Think Exile on Main Street around that period of Rolling Stones, maybe Sticky Fingers at times. So if you like that sound, is it a retread of that? Is it a you need another record like that? I think this is great that there's guitar-based bands with some, organ too, and keyboards thrown in, and just a great kind of funky, soulful, swampy band. The Nude Party, their third album, rides on. I do have the other two records, and I quite like them a lot. And this just came out in the last week. One of my favorite new records that I think might, as of right now, make my top list of the year, came out about a month or so ago. And this is the new album by Yo La Tengo. Of course, they've been around. I can't believe they've been around for almost 40 years. That's unbelievable. Yo La Tengo's been around for 40 plus years. Who would have thought, right? Isn't it late 70s, early 80s? They came out. New album, double album again. The album is called This Stupid World, which really fits into my thinking in a way. It's the music stupid. Now that's another thing. I do these videos, It's the Music Stupid, and I hope you're not offended by this. And several people in comments and in person told me that I am insulting my audience by referring to them as stupid. Well, that's not what my intention is. It's the music stupid. The concept was based on James Carville's quote and mantra in the 1992 election for Bill Clinton against George Herbert Walker Bush. If you ever saw a documentary, I'm a big political junkie, The War Room, it's about the Clinton campaign. And they had several mantras of, campaigning. Remember, George Bush had read my lips, no new taxes. Well, the economy was kind of stagnant then. There's a little bit of a slight recession. And the Clinton campaign kept saying in the background, it's the economy stupid. It's the economy stupid. That was their mantra. That was kind of within themselves. They're not talking about you, the viewer, it's the economy stupid. But the obvious thing, don't forget that. That's what people need to hear about. And it's the music. Stupid is the same thing. It's not calling you stupid or the guy under the hat stupid, me, I guess. It's the music first. Then, okay, we want a good pressing. We want good sound. We want a nice package. But it all comes down, if everything is shaken up, after everything is stripped away, it's about the music. Here's some great music, some great writing, some great performing. I digress here, but this called This Stupid World sort of reminded me of that. It would have been better if they called it It's the Music Stupid. This is, again, a double record. Yola Tango. Haven't seen them in a while, but just a great band. I mean, they're like indie, psychedelic, alternative. Sometimes they have a drone feel to it. Sometimes they have this really kind of noisy sound. Think Sonic Youth, but with better vocals, with wonderful vocals. And sometimes their music seems very loud, but it's compressed down. I don't mean compressed in terms of mastering, but I mean it's tampered down volume-wise, but it's loud and gnarly, yet their vocals are just wonderful. The male and female vocals can be really wonderful on this. So Yola Tango's new album is a wonderful success and really great. So love this record. It's on Matador Records. Another archival release is a new release by Ali Farka Touré, and this is called Voyager. Ali Farka Touré, the Desert Sand, electric guitar, he did a record with Ry Cooder. I have about 5 or 6 of his records, and he died about a decade ago. His son has been playing and putting out records, and this is on World Circuit. This is Nick Gold's label, and this was produced by Nick Gold and Ali Farka Touré. These are unreleased tunes that they recorded some years back. World Circuit also put out Buena Vista Social Club, a lot of world music, a lot of African-based, South American-based, Cuban music, obviously. Nick Gold worked with Ry Cooder on the Buena Vista Social Club. But this is a beautiful cover, beautiful package, and just a really nice release. Usually World Circuit puts these lovely inserts in. Voyager, Ali Farka Touré on World Circuit. And now, of course, Kraft Records has got to be one of the best labels that's putting out really well mastered reissues, usually on great cover stock and for reasonable prices. Yet they have their limited small batch, single origin, one-step things for $100, which are few and far between. I think I have 2 of those, and they're well done. At least they have the narrow box if you're going to stick it in a slipcase. But this is the sweet spot, this period, and this is Kraft. Even though it doesn't say on the cover, it says mastered from analog tapes. This was cut by Kevin Gray. You got a KGCA in the dead wax, beautiful red vinyl. Look how sexy that is. That's like a super red, and definitely with that title burn, it really makes sense. But of course, it opens up with probably John Lee Hooker's most famous song, Boom Boom. Coming from San Francisco, he opened a club called the Boom Boom Room, which was on Fillmore. It still exists on Fillmore and Geary, right literally across the overpass over Geary Boulevard from the Fillmore Auditorium. I bought this in a local in Seattle, so that was a good one. This is my top record of the year so far, my #1 record, and this is Reality by Bill Callahan. I'm all in on Bill Callahan. 15, 20 years ago, he started out putting out records under the moniker Smog, and then he started just switching over and using his own name, Bill Callahan. This is literally the heaviest record I think I've gotten in a long time. This is friggin' heavy cover stock. This is 200 gram. I'm not sure you need 200 gram Drag City. I don't know why, but it's physically heavy, and it's a beautiful record. He's got this great deep baritone. I've seen him maybe 5 times live. He's an interesting songwriter. He's got a sly sense of humor. Beautiful artwork. Oh. And he's got this like really interesting lyric pattern or vocal pattern where he does these words in his lyrics where he'll repeat a phrase or a series of words 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times over and over again. And it just seems to work the way he presents his records. He's usually up there playing a small acoustic guitar, has a band. Sometimes he has these sort of string quartets, string instruments, or maybe a French horn or something on his records, or occasionally live. And it just adds this other element that's really nice. He's not a rock and roller, but a great record. This one, again, Bill Callahan. Probably so far up to now, we're at the mid-March of 2023 when I'm recording this, and this is my favorite album of this year on Drag City Records, Bill Callahan. I think that's enough for one Mazzy's mix. No jazz records here. I have a bunch of jazz reissues and archival things that have been coming out. Amazing jazz stuff. Again, we're in the golden age. That's going to be a separate video. I did go see one of my favorite bands out of Canada, been around for 3 decades almost, and that's the Sadies. And this is the first time I've seen them since the death a year ago of their brother Dallas, one of the good brothers. And Sadies, I saw them at the Tractor Tavern. Fantastic. It's the first time seeing them without the brother, without the dueling guitars, without the brotherly harmonies, and they were great. I do miss that brotherly harmony. I think I would like them to get another vocalist or someone to add occasionally, maybe a female, I don't know, or have guest people come in. But they were amazing. The vocals are still great, but every once in a while you want that little harmony thing in their music because it's got a really wonderful sound. What a great, great band. Sort of a Link Ray meets surf guitar, meets psychedelic twangy guitar, meets, garage band, punk, just ventures, rockabilly, just so good. Stand-up bass, double bass, drums. I mean, they're like this tight power trio now. And they were amazing. The audience loved them, and I've seen them maybe 6-7 times. Just love the Sadies. So I'm going to close out with a little snippet of the Sadies as we say goodbye this time. And Mazzy loves you, and thank you for watching.